What's up, everyone? It's Kylie, and welcome back to England Travel. Here's my top five food you should try. You should try when you travel to England. Technology powerhouse and digital surveillance. Xi has called innovation the soul driving a nation's progress and increased funding for research, while overseeing a push to make China a leader across high-tech fields from space to quantum computing and AI to green energy. China's high-tech capabilities also have another focus, tracking the public through the installation of massive video surveillance system and biometric data collection efforts effort, efforts that have intensified intense intensified in the name of fighting COVID-19. Zero COVID policy. Since China brought the world's first outbreak of COVID-19 under control in early 2020, Beijing has adopted a zero tolerance playbook to quell resurgence, harnessing the force of the authoritarian state and its surveillance power to impose lockdowns, force centralized quarantines, and mandate regular COVID-19 testing. While the policy initially appeared to have brought public support, 2 years later, discontent is rising. The policy launched by Xi has also radically changed how China interacts with the rest of the world. Broader restrictions have shut out international students and business travelers who once flocked to China, while overseas trips by mainland Chinese tourists have all but dried up. Today's China is more isolated and nationalistic than it's been in decades, even as its economy falters, posing significant challenges for the country as he appears to poised to drive his agenda forward into a third term. From this day forward, the central task of the Chinese Communist Party is to lead the Chinese people of all ethnic groups in a concerted effort to advance the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation on all fronts through a Chinese path to modernization. UK warns China is recruiting British pilots to train its military. The UK government has warned that current and former British military pilots are being lured to China with large compensations package to train the country's armed forces, and said it would take measures to stop such a recruitment scheme amid national security concern. The UK Ministry of Defence (MOD) said it believes that up to 30 former British military pilots are currently providing training in China, and that numerous others have been approached, including British personnel who are currently serving. The OMD said China is using third parties to find British and other Western pilots to directly train Chinese pilots, as well as support state-owned defense industry companies and research institutions. We're talking decisive step to stop Chinese recruitment scheme attempting to headhunt serving and former UK Armed Forces pilots to train People Liberation's Army personnel in the People Republic of China, and an OMD spokesperson said in a statement. All serving and former personnel are already subject to the Official Secret Act, and we are reviewing the use of confidentiality contracts and non-disclosure agreements across defense, while the new national security bill will create additional tools to tackle contemporary security challenges, including this one. Money to hand over. Even the world's richest man needs a little help for an acquisitions of this size. In April, Musk announced he had lined up $46.5 billion dollars in financing for the deal, including two debt commitment letters from Morgan Stanley and other unnamed financial institution institution, one for 30 billion, 13 billion, and another for 12.5 billion dollars. The latter of which was later reduced to 6.25 billion dollars. Musk himself also committed approximately $21 billion dollars in equity to fund the deal, and later raised an additional $7 billion dollars in equity from investors such as Oracle founder Larry Ellison and cryptocurrency firm Binance. Much of the sticking point between Musk and Twitter now appears to be over uncertainty around the status of those financing arrangements. Musk's team has said in a filing earlier Thursday that there was no need to press on with the litigation because he had committed to closing the deal at the originally agreed upon terms, and the banks that had committed debt financing to help him pay for it were working cooperatively to fund the close. Twitter, skeptical after Musk spent months trying to get out of the deal and also wanting to keep the pressure of a trial hanging over him, opposed to pausing the proceedings. It raised concern in a separate filing that an unnamed representative of one of the banks has testified Thursday morning that Musk had not yet sent a borrowing notice and had not otherwise communicated to them that he intends to close the transaction, let alone on any particular timeline. Twitter also said Musk should close the deal by next week. I think Musk does intend to close the deal, and I think his reason for not closing it this second are probably somewhat straightforward, said Ann Lipton, associate professor of business law at Tulane Law School. The likely reasons, she said, have to do with the time it takes for Musk to finish pulling together all the previous announced financing arrangements in order to close the deal. Musk is likely trying to help Morgan Stanley market the debt to other investors before telling them to hand him the money to close the deal. According to Lipton, while Musk isn't required to do that, it would do a favor for a bank that he's had more than a decade-long relationship with, given the economic environment is more difficult now than when the agreements were first made. Some have speculated about whether Morgan Stanley and the other banks providing debt financing could try to walk away from the deal now because Twitter is arguably even less valuable now than when the deal was first struck, after Musk spent months making claims about its flaws and following broader social media and digital advertising market declines. But the bank could face legal ramifications if it's tried to back out of its commitment now. The only way that they could get out of it is to claim a material adverse effect and that Twitter has changed so much since they agreed to the deal that they no longer want to finance the deal, said George Gaze, professor of strategies at the UCLA Anderson School of Management. Even if the banks try to back out, Musk may not automatically be off the hook. According to the merger agreement, Musk could, in theory, walk away from a deal with a $1 billion breakup payment to Twitter if his debt financing were to fall through. However, if a Delaware court were to find that Musk was at fault for the financing falling through after his months of disparaging the company, he could potentially face a court order to sue Morgan Stanley to provide the funds or close the deal without it. Debt financing aside, Musk may also still need a bit more cash to fund his equity portion of the deal, which could require him to sell off more Tesla shares, Lipton said. And he will have to wait a few days to be able to do that. Tesla is set to report quarterly earnings on October 19, and executives are typically required not to sell shares in the days prior to an earnings report. Musk also presumably has a large stake in SpaceX, but because of the company is not publicly traded, it's not clear what it would take to liquidate them on short notice. Another necessary. As the bank has made clear from the outset, its temporary and targeted purchases of goods will end on 14 October, a spokesperson said on Wednesday. Yet, as bond yields keep rallying, not everyone is convinced that approach makes sense. The Pensions and Lifetime Saving Associations said the end date was a key concern for its members who provide retirement incomes for 30 million people. Investors, meanwhile, haven't been sold on the action taken thus far. The BOE seems intent on showing the measures they are taking are financial tools, not a form of monetary policy. Daniela Russell's, head of UK rates strategy at HSBC, said in a recent note to clients, in doing so, however, we think they may prove to be insufficient and fail to achieve their aim. The central conundrum is that the bank is caught in a web of contradictory policy aims. The UK government has said it wants to boost demand to stimulate growth, while the central bank wants to reduce demand in order to bring down painfully high inflation, creating confusion about which goal will win out. Recent policy reversals by the beaten down Truss government, including the scrapping of a tax cut for top earners, have also made it hard for investors to discern what measures are still in play. The more U-turns you make, the more there's question mark over the durability of any policy, said Rebel Bank McGuire, who has described the market situation in the United Kingdom as a slow-moving car crash. Plus, the Bank of England plans to start selling government bonds bought during the pandemic at the end of the month to help tackle inflation. If it were to buy bonds at the same time to keep markets stable, its message could become even more muddled. Message. Russell said the situation remained precarious, but she thinks the Bank of England can kick off bond sales as planned. The provided focus on shorter dated debt, which hasn't been hammered as badly. Such complex proposals drive home just how horrible a position the Bank of England is in. Its past intervention haven't worked. The government is making its life much harder, and inflation, as ever, continues to loom. It's a warning to governments around the world about the cost of any misstep at a delicate moment, with interest rates rising at the fattest clip in decades and financial markets showing signs of strain. What's happening in the United Kingdom is a cautionary, salutary tale, McGuire said. Opinion. Why I hope 2022 will be another 80-66. Midterm elections are usually not history-making stuff. Few have been memorable, but in the 2022 midterms, as in the 1966 elections, the fate of American democracy hangs in the balance. If there is a moment from history that our current political moment most resembles, it is the 1866 midterm election held a year after the end of the Civil War. The party in power has historically lost midterm elections with few exceptions. Political pundits have repeated this conventional wisdom this year, with predictions of a November debate of Democrats. Things looked a bit different recently. The Biden administration's considerable legislative successes, the tamping down of gas prices until the slowdown of oil production by Russia and OPEC countries, and the forgiveness of some student loans, combined with the Supreme Court unprecedented Dobbs decisions, the never-ending saga of Trump's legal troubles, and extremists running on the Republican ticket have leveled the playing field somewhat, despite Republicans blaming global inflation on the Biden-Harris administration and playing to fears about crime. Though predictions of doom have been tempered, professional pollsters still give the GOP control of the House of Representatives in the midterms, and now predict party, and they stole the show with their super hot avatars. A few hours ago, Priyanka and Nick both took to social media and shared a slew of pics from the party. Priyanka and Nick are one of the most gorgeous celebrity couples who often shell out major couple goals. They have a huge fan following on social media, and the duo keeps their fans updated by sharing sneak peeks from their daily lives. Their hot and romantic pics frequently go viral. Priyanka and Nick attended Connie Chang and Jesse M. Powell's wedding. Taking to Instagram, Priyanka wrote, "To witness the beautiful union of two wonderful people always gets me. Connie and Jesse, your love is so beautiful. May you always have joy and happiness in your life. Thank you for inviting us to be part of it." Also, Tiluhu and Kevin Nath James, damn, I miss y'all. Fans and celebrities shows their love with comments and compliments soon after the diva dropped the pics on social media. Priyanka looked drop-dead gorgeous in a red bodycon dress, while Nick looked hot in a gray tuxedos. As they took a selfie, Priyanka could be seen holding Nick's hand. Priyanka went around posing with numerous friends and taking selfies. Furthermore, the actor took a close-up selfie in front of the mirror in the bathroom. Taking to Instagram, Nick wrote, "Congrats to Connie and Jess on a beautiful wedding. Thank you for letting us be a part of your day." He posted two pics with Priyanka and one with the bride, groom, and PC. Speaking of Priyanka professional front, she last appeared in the Matrix Restor- Restor- Restorations. She has a couple of projects in the pipeline. She'll be next seen in It's All Coming Back to Me. Ending things, she has a Farham Bollywood film and alongside Alia Bhatt and Katrina Kaif. BTS Jin leaves army speechless as he visits flea market in expensive shearling jacket costing 5.19 lakh. Mr. Worldwide Handsome never misses. It doesn't matter where he's going, Jin always look his best. Be it a formal gathering or a casual meetup, the members' fashion will surely be on point. While that is true for all occasions, the global star has its choice style even when he is visiting a flea market. The singer will manage to turn even a place like that into his personal runway. For those who may not know, Seokjin was recently spotted at the Ganhwa flea market with chef Big Jong Won. Pics of them posing with the vendors there went viral on social media. These two were seen trying to shop for various items. The attention was on the fact that there were cameras around them. Now, cameras can only mean one thing. We have another very show appearance on the way. Army was quick to point out that this can be for Jongwon's YouTube series, Go to Market, in which he introduced markets all over the country and he's got the idol as the next guest. In the pics, Jean can be seen sporting a denim fur jacket over a half turtleneck shirt and blue trousers to complete his look. We have to say his style was quite the standout here. Take a look at the photo. Fans will remember seeing the BTS member in this jacket before, but if you are intrigued by it and would like to have it in your wardrobe as well, let us warn you, it will not come easy. That is a shearling lined oversized fit denim jacket made in Italy straight from Bottega Veneta. It cost a whooping like a lot. So yes, that is indeed the price of that jacket. It blew our minds for real, but like always, what matters is Jim pulled it off with ease. In fact, he took it up a notch. Mamamoo to soon embark on a world tour surprises fans with an announcement. Fans of the K-pop group Mamamoo are having the time of their lives. After making a comeback with a new album, the ladies are now all set for something else as well. Yes, they are still have a lot more in store for everyone. For those who don't know, the band dropped their 12th mini-album titled Make On, and on October 11, along with the music videos for the title track. They left everyone awestruck by showcasing a different size in the MV. The latest news is that Mamamoo will soon embark on a world tour, while the speculative announcement for the same was made back in June. The confirmation comes now. Back then, it was said that the tour will happen in the later half of the year. Since we are way into October, it only makes sense that the details have been dropped now. The update was shared by none other than the members themselves. During their recent comeback showcase, the girls spoke about the album as well as their future schedule. We plan to finally meet the world 8 years after our debut, Solar added. The RBW Entertainment Group also revealed that they were planning for the tour a long time back, but COVID happened and it got postponed. They further add that since it is finally happening now, they cannot wait to be able to meet international fans as well. As for the details of the date and stops, they will be revealed in the coming days. We only got the confirmation announcement, but let us agree that even this, for now, will do. As much as fans eagerly await all the information, they are super excited about the tour as it was long in the process. Stay tuned for more updates. K-pop group Jidol call out an antis in teaser for Dark X-File from upcoming album I Love Watch. Jidol tackles issues in the most creative ways, be it with their lyrics or concepts. The K-pop girl group has never failed to impress netizens with their bold statements, taking a dig at haters in their latest teasers for their upcoming album. The girl group seems to have a lot to say. In case you missed out, Jidol are set to make a comeback with their 5th mini-album, I Love. This marked their first comeback in almost 7 months, following the release of their first full-length album, I Never Die, in March this year. I Never Die was the group's first comeback as the quintet following the sudden departure of former members Sojin. Even so, the group's popularity remained unaffected. Writing off the massive success of their previous album, the girl group seemed to be addressing rumors made during the times when they were on a hiatus and lost a member. In the latest teaser for their upcoming album, members are seen sipping drinks and reading articles about them. From tense to speculation about their future, the girl group faced massive backlash last year, showing a sense of vulnerability in Dark X-File. The girls weren't afraid to speak about their past. Take a look at the stunning teaser. Earlier this year, during her appearance on NBC popular reality show I Live Alone, Jidol leader Soyeon said she wanted the group's upcoming comeback to reflect the quote, "I'd rather be hated for being myself than be loved as someone I am not." And it seems the girl group are trying to convey Soyeon ideas for their upcoming release. Meanwhile, the girl group recently wrapped up a major portion of their first world tour, Just Me, Idol. kicking off on June 17 in Seoul, Tito tour across Asia, North America, and Latin America. What is China Communist Party Congress and why does it matter? Xi Jinping is poised to cement his role as China's most powerful leader in decades this month, when members of the country's ruling Communist Party meet for twice a decade leadership reshuffle. In recent years, these meetings have seen a streamlined transfer of power. The convention is for the top party leader having completed the two 5-year terms to pass the baton to a carefully chosen successor. But this year, Xi is expected to smash that precedent, taking on the third term as general secretary of the party and pitching China into a new era of strongman rule and uncertainty over when or how the country would see another leader. As a result, the 20th Party Congress is almost the most consequential and closely watched party meetings in decades, and will reveal much about the direction of the world's second-largest economy for the next 5 years. Here's what you need to know about the events and how China chooses its leaders. What is the Party Congress? The Chinese Communist Party National Congress, known simply as the Party Congress, is a roughly week-long conclave that meets once every 5 years to appoint new leaders, discuss changes to the party constitution, and lay out a policy agenda for the country. The Congress itself, typically held in October or November, convenes nearly 2,030 carefully selected Communist Party members, called delegates from around the country. These delegates range from top provincial officials and military officers to professionals across sectors and a so-called grassroots representative like farmers and industrial workers. Just over a quarter are women, while about 11% come from ethnic minorities, according to figures released ahead of this year's Congress. Unveiled students returned to school for the first time after mass shooting that killed 21st. I want to just shelter her as a mom, just keep her home. But of course I don't want her to live in fear, said the mother of one student in Texas community. Students and teachers returned to school Tuesday in the heartbroken community of Uvalde, Texas, for the first time since 19 children and 2 educators were killed during a mass shooting at an elementary school in May. As children return to the classroom, the town continues to mourn those who were killed and demand accountability in deadly shooting at Robb Elementary School, during which law enforcement officers waited more than an hour before entering a 4th-grade classroom where the gunman carried out the attack. The first day brought anguish for parents whose children died in the massacre. Stephen Gracia, whose 9-year-old daughter Elena was killed, said he was an emotional wreck Tuesday morning and felt a surge of anger. I couldn't find the tears, but then I thought back to my Ellie and know she wouldn't want me to feel that way, he wrote in a post on social media. Thinking of all the first day of school with my Ellie, no one expects to have to bury their child after leaving them at school, he said in another post. Jennifer Lugo, Ellie's mother, said in a post the night before the first day of school that her stomach was in a big knot, and she was sure the family would be leaving the house with tears and not smiles. I'm missing one of my babies, she said, adding that Ellie loved school and was always excited to get up and get ready for with her sister. Kimberly and Felix Rubio, whose daughter Lexi was killed, said ahead of the first day of school that they were frightened for their for their 5 other children. I don't know that the school district has done everything that I would like to see as far as security measures, but I also know it's important for the kids to have some sort of routine, so trying to balance what's best for them, Kimberly said. Lexi has been on her mind, she said, and meeting her youngest son's teacher was incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult to go on campus knowing that Lexi is not going to be meeting a teacher this year, Kimberly said. Students across the state were marooned to school Tuesday in support of the UVA community. Robb Elementary has not reopened since the shooting, and its surviving student has been scattered to different schools in the area. The school district also added virtual options this year for parents who didn't feel comfortable sending their children back into classroom. Parents arriving at some local school Tuesday morning were greeted with taller fences, increased security and cameras, a large law enforcement presence, more counselors, and even emotional support dogs. Outside Dalton Elementary School in Uville, Esther said that one of her children had attended Robb Elementary at the time of the shooting and had received counseling because she was traumatized. But Natalie, whose children are 7 and 8 years old, says she felt safer with the added security measure. I'm on the positive side, so I hope that what happened last year won't happen again, she said. For right now, I think they are in good hands. Pre-kindergarten teacher Belinda Remise says she wasn't nervous about the start of the school year in the shadow of the tragedy. She's happy that school is starting again, but also just a bit sad for the kids, she said. Her nephew attended Robb Elementary last school year. We asked him and he just stayed quiet, so I know he's a bit nervous, but we are happy that school is starting back up, and when we start, I think it will get all better, she said. We have to just continue to move forward. Late last month, Uville School Police Chief Pete Arredondo was fired by Texas City's school board, which voted unanimously to oust him. The embattled chief capped 3 months of outrage over the botched law enforcement response to the shooting at Robb Elementary. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds passed from the time police entered the building May 24 until the gunman was killed, Texas Department of Public Safety Director Steve McCraw has said. A scathing report released in July by Texas House Committee investigating the mass shooting found systemic failures and poor decision-making by law enforcement and the school district. And her husband Julio have made helping their 10-year-old daughters return to school a priority. The girl, Madison, was at Robb Elementary the day of the shooting. The family has enrolled Madison in a private school, which they say made safety upgrades after the shooting. I want to just shelter her as a mom and just keep her home, but of course, I don't want her to live in fear, she said. Here's what you need to know about Liz Truss, Britain's new leader. Sometime compared to the UK's first female leader, Margaret Thatcher, Truss has also been accused of being a political killman. London as a girl and a young woman, Liz Truss protests against then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and called for the abolition of the monarchy. Decades later, having risen through the ranks of Thatcher's Conservative Party, Truss, 47, on Tuesday was appointed to the United Kingdom Prime Minister by Queen Elizabeth II. As she headed to No. 10 Downing Street, Truss looks eager to rule in the image of the famously blunt and strong-willed iconoclast whose legacy still divides this country. Her victory means she will become the country's third female leader, after Thatcher and Theresa May. The Iron Lady, as Thatcher was known, was the 20th century longest-serving British leader and birthed an ideology, Thatcherism, that still dominates the party with its low tax, high-growth economic liberalism. Serving as primer from 1979 to 1990. When she was forced to resign by her own government, Thatcher was a strident cold warrior and a supporter of free markets, and especially close to President Ronald Reagan, one of Britain's most divisive prime minister, revile and revere in almost equal measure to this day. She's best known for her policies. She's best known for her policy on deregulation, privatizing state-owned companies, and smashing the power of unions. She died in 2013. Whether international or not, observers and the public have pointed out Truss appears to have a habit of recreating iconic Thatcher public appearance. While serving as Foreign Secretary, Truss was accused of consciously mirroring Thatcher by posing in a Challenger 2 tank while visiting British troops in Estonia. A famous picture of Thatcher in a Challenger tank in Germany in 1986. When visiting Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov at the Kremlin in February, she wore a fox for a hat that again was compared to that worn by Thatcher on a Russia trip in 1987. During the Conservative leadership contest, Truss wore an outfit strikingly similar to one Thatcher had worn for an election broadcast in 1979, a black blazer and a white shirt with a bow tie at the front. For Truss critics, the similarities to Thatcher's are the best premature and worst ludicrous. I don't think there is anything in it. They're completely different people. Truss supporter Andrea Andino, 55, insisted outside the venue where Truss was announced the new leader of the Conservative Party on Monday. Andino wore a t-shirt in Liz We Trust. She's different. I don't think she will follow Thatcher in any way, she added. Timothy Kirkhope, a Conservative member of the upper chamber of the British Parliament, also dismissed the comparison, but for different reasons. I regard any comparison between Truss and Thatcher as derisory, he said in an email. I worked as a government whip under Margaret Thatcher. She was a colossus in politics. There is absolutely no way that Truss could ever get anywhere near the achievements of Thatcher, he said. Truss herself complained to BBC Radio 4 in July that women tend to get compared to Thatcher whether they resemble her or not. I'm on my own person, she said. James Cleverly, who served as education minister under Boris Johnson, echoes these sentiments. She's a woman in politics, though comparisons are inevitable, and he said, she is Liz Truss, she's her own person. To To those of us who have studied Thatcher, she's hardly in the same league, at least on current form, said Professor Tim Bell, an expert on British politics and the Conservative Party at Queen Mary University of London. While Thatcher was regarded then and now was a conviction politician who embodied her beliefs, now as the daughter of the university professor are a load of nonsense, Crithope said. After graduating from Oxford in 1969, she abandoned the Liberal Democrats and joined the Conservative Party, the dismay of her left-leaning father. He was quite horrified, she told the Times newspaper in 2012. After college, Truss worked as a graduate trainee accountant for the energy giant Shell and later the telecommunications company Cable and Wireless. In 2000, she married fellow accountant Hugh O'Leary, and they have two daughters. After a youth of on the center-left university prime Truss for conservation to the right. I met Tories and I realized that they didn't have two heads and were actually good people, she told the Daily Mail in 2019. Truss stood as a Tory candidate in the election of 2001 and 2005, losing both times. It would take another 5 years before she was finally elected as the MP for South West Norfolk. Truss has served in various cabinet positions since 2012 under the governments of David Cameron, Theresa May, and Johnson. It was under Johnson that she was promoted to foreign minister, one of the most powerful positions in government. Truss was leading the transitions to a post-Brexit trading rim and forging new diplomatic ties. The Conservative Party may have ditched Johnson, but his brand of populism looks set to stay under the new prime minister. She stayed loyal to Johnson. She told the membership that they want to hear on the economy and taxations rather than any hard truths. She is a fierce Brexiteer and an anti-woke warrior, Bell said. Truss may be compared to Thatcher, but her critics believe she has much more in common with her predecessor. I regret that a Liz Truss premiership would be a continuation of the Boris Johnson style, Kipper said. A Truss government would be even more divisive and include individuals who are notable only for their extreme or eccentric view, he said. Steve Bannon expected to face state indictment in New York. The Manhattan DA office had opened an investigation into Bannon in connection with his role in a charity that was supposed to use private funds to build the U.S.-Mexico border wall. Almost 2 years after he received a pardon from President Donald Trump in a federal fraud case, Steve Bannon is expected to face state indictment in New York. In a statement first shared with NBC News on Tuesday night, Bannon said New York has now decided to pursue phony charges against me 60 days before the midterm election. This is nothing more than a Persian political weaponization of the criminal justice system, added Bannon, who once was the chief of White House strategist in the Trump administration. The statement came after the Washington Post, citing people familiar with the situation, reported that Bannon planned to surrender Thursday. NBC News has asked the Manhattan District Attorney Office for comment. The District Attorney Office last year opened an investigation into Bannon in connection with his role in a charity that was supposed to use private funds to build the U.S.-Mexico border wall, NBC News reported in February 2021. The previous year, Bannon was indicted with 3 other people on charges of taking money donated to help build a wall along the southern border. Federal prosecutors alleged that Bannon's We Build the Wall campaign, which raised more than $25 million, defrauded hundreds of thousands of donors who contributed to an effort to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, one of Trump's key campaign promises. Trump pardoned Bannon in January 2021, but presidential pardons apply only to federal charges, meaning New York is not prohibited from pursuing similar charges. I am proud to be a leading voice on protecting our borders, and building a wall to keep our country safe from drugs and violent criminals. Bennett said in Tuesday night's statement, "They are coming after all of us, not only President Trump and myself. I am never going to stop fighting. In fact, I have not yet begun to fight. They will have to kill me first." Separately, Bannon was convicted of contempt of Congress after he refused to answer questions from the House January 6 committee. A jury found him guilty on 2 counts of contempt of Congress in July. A woman jumped from a moving car after being kidnapped by a man who asked for water, authorities say. Jeremy Alaska, 31, is accused of holding the woman at knife point in Washington state. Authorities in Washington state identified a suspect Tuesday who they say carjacked a woman and held her at knife point until she escaped by jumping from a moving car. The woman had given water to Jeremy Alaska, 31, after he approached her vehicle asking for some in an incident that began in Vancouver, Washington. Early Saturday, the Clark County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. Alaska is expected to be charged with kidnapping, robbery, and attempt eluding after he fled from officers, the sheriff's office said. The woman, who has not been identified, told authorities after she gave Alaska water, she allowed him into her car. Alaska produced a knife and used the threat of violence to take control of the car. The release alleged, adding that he drove roughly 15 miles to the city of Camas. Alaska slowed down on a dirt road, authorities said, and the woman jumped from the car and started banging on the doors of the nearby homes. A resident, James Wood, told NBC affiliate KGW of Portland, Oregon, that he and his family awoke around 4:30 a.m. to the sound of a woman pounding on the back door of his home and moving the doorknob. "She was desperate to get in, which I can't understand," Wood told the station. "She told me that someone tried to kill her and someone stole her car." Was told the station that he called 911 after deputies searched the area and found the car. The driver fled, according to the release. 11 minutes later, and about 8 miles away, authorities from the sheriff's office and the Vancouver Police Department were able to pin the car. And the release says Alaska was taken into custody after he tried to flee the vehicle. The release says he refused to provide his name and was identified through other names. The sheriff's office says it wasn't immediately clear whether he has a lawyer to speak on his behalf. Police say that they have found.
Turning now to breaking news in the investigation of that missing Memphis jogger and mother of 2. Police confirmed today the body of 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher has.
Police say that they have found the remains of missing jogger Eliza Fletcher. Memphis authorities have confirmed a body found during the search for Eliza Fletcher was identified as the 34-year-old woman who was abducted during a run Friday morning. NBC News just Chris reports on the news details police have released and the latest charges against the suspect charged with kidnapping Fletcher. And that is the end for today. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya! Oh, and by the way, all the all the tips I gave you last time, I hope it worked because it worked for me, and I think that it worked for most people with average memory. I myself have average memory, and I couldn't learn anything besides English because I hate everything. I hate every subject besides English. Um, the only thing that I find English is interesting because it was another language. And I hate math. I hate math. I especially hate math, and I don't want to, calculate anything. And I not good at calculating things. So that's why I hate math. And about English is that when I was small, when I was about 9 years old, I watched Disney Channel a lot, and that is when I know I like English because Disney Channel is all about English. If you don't if you don't understand English, so yeah, I watch it, and although I don't understand a word it was saying about what is the movie about and what it's called, I just remember the melody. Phineas the Verb, right? I just remember that the song in the intro song right from the start. I remember the melody, the way they pronounce, but I don't know for sure how they pronounce it. So I just remember the melody and I sing along. So that is when I remember all the stuff and all the words that I accidentally remember by remembering the melody. So when I said that music can help you a lot, I mean it. So if you guys try it, and if you have any, positive result, comment below, and uh, follow for more if you like my tips and you find it effective. So yeah, thank you and goodbye. Oh, one more thing. I also like English, and I only good at speaking, and I'm not good at grammar. Yeah, I also not good at grammar. I only good at speaking because I can, mumbling to the sound and, um, like for example, they sing like, what's going on? So I will like, ma 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 ma. I remember the sound. I don't remember what they're saying, and I don't know what they're saying, but I remember the sound. So when I grow up, it means when I was in secondary school or something like that. I learn it and I know, oh, so that's what it is, that what it was about, and yeah, that's how I learn it. And I only good at speaking because I remember the basic words, the basic step that they say. For example, hello, how are you? How are you today? You're good? Are you good? How are you today? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Like just basic stuff, and I get better and better through movies. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if I could help you with that, but I think for myself, I'm getting better, and you have to learn. You you cannot learn English without learning it. Uh, you know, without actually learning it. So you have to put time and effort into learning stuff, and eventually it will come out great. It will get you a positive result and a, a very good result that you want. So don't give up and don't lose trust in yourself, especially when you find it hard. Just took a break. Just take a break and get some air, go outside, have fun with your friends for a day if you're feeling stressed about studying stuff, and after that you get it together and yeah, just study, dude. That's it.